Hello everyone, I'm George from Ireland. We're here to see natural beauty. No, not me for once, but flowers. Here at the Chelsea Flower Show, RHS, Royal Horticultural Society. Horticulture is gardening, to those of you who don't know. So we're in Chelsea, London, not New York. So this is a beautiful spot by the river. The river's that away, you can't see it. It'll be just beyond the fence, just beyond those trees. So we're just north of the River Thames, and it takes place every year, been going for well over a century, the Chelsea Garden Show. It had to be cancelled in May 2020 for coronavirus, put back to May this year, and then postponed again to now September. And what a blessed Indian summer we have for it. I've never seen the like of it in September. So it is splendiferous. So I think we're being compensated for the rainiest August in my lifetime. Okay, look at that, this little garden they've got here. And what are those pipes in aid of? Okay, I think that's just make it a bit more characterful, different, kooky. What do you think? And you can queue up and go and have a look. So it's only on for a week because they've got to get these flowers in bloom. I'm not quite sure how they manage it as we're a little bit past the summer, but in their greenhouses or whatever, I don't have much of a green thumb, you know, unless I've been painting. So anyway, and I suppose this tree was brought in especially. The tall trees weren't, obviously been landscaped for centuries. So there are loads of people here, about 100,000 people here. You've got timed tickets. Mine was to come at 5:30, I came a bit early. But once in, you can stay as long as you like, and it's sort of open all daylight hours, really. And there's such a gathering of posh people, such as I haven't seen in an exceedingly long time. Now, these people are mostly mature, right? That's diplomatic for old, and overwhelmingly white, not quite sure what that is. Also ethnic and minority people, maybe just a neutral observation. And this, as I'm sure you all recognise, that's an image of Castle Howard in Yorkshire. I've been there once, not as a guest of the noble house that owns it. Do you ever see Brideshead Revisited? And this represents Brideshead, that fictive stately home, that 1981 television series based on the Evelyn Waugh novel, the classic Oxford novel published in 1945, but the action begins in 1921 in the novel. Anyway, so a lot of these are stalls, so it's quite commercialised. There are not actually as many flowers as I'd assumed. I'm a Chelsea Flower Show virgin. I wanted to go for a few years, but I was always coming and going in no particular pattern and couldn't tell I was going to be here because it's a week in May, and then I said you can queue up for people tickets that are not bought or usually just returned. If you've got a ticket, don't want it, you can sell it back at face value. Obviously, you can be a tout and sell it for more. Okay, here's the Royal Hospital Chelsea, not a hospital anymore. It's in the grounds of the Royal Hospital. The Royal Hospital was set up under King Charles II for retired soldiers. If they're bachelors or widowers, have no dependent children, they could live here. I think in lieu of most of their pension, have their bed and board for free. And they walk around, they've got their red uniform for the summer, and they've got their blue uniform for their winter dress, and the letters RH on it, as in Royal Hospital. Chelsea pensioners, they're known as. So, and some of them are buried in the ground. You see a few of them around the area, or in here today. Okay, another one, little displays. And this is advertising lawnmowers. Yeah, automatic ones. You can probably train it to kill. You can see some in the background. We are not actually seeing them in action, bit of a pity. So there we are, a finely mowed lawn. Anyway, and there's a big pavilion here. Now, as I say, we've been very fortunate because the Almighty has bestowed clement weather on us, but of course it could be pouring it down, in which case everybody would head inside. We'll all be able to be in our summer raiment. You know, haven't needed a jacket all day, and actually, what I need is sunglasses. Okay, and so there are more little things they're selling, garden furniture, bricolage, little gazebo things. How about that? So these things all cost a pretty penny, which is where the quite affluent people are here. Again, some of the plants for the garden sheds, how about that? So you may derive some aesthetic pleasure from seeing it. It's a little bit fragrant. It's not quite the banquet for the senses that I was hoping, but I thought it'd be more of a sensory feast when it came to the odours given off by the plants. They could be exultant in nature. And under these things, like some sort of tropical cabana. Anyway, it goes on the other side, the Royal Hospital. You can see more of it now. They live in. They've got a chapel, they've got a dining room and so on. And obviously it's open to the public certain times of the week. Obviously it wasn't open during coronavirus. Margaret Thatcher, her remains were cremated there, I believe. And then they're interred somewhere there. even though she wasn't a military person, that's what she requested. So I've never been into the Royal Hospital Chelsea. One of the few things I've never ever done, and I've never been to this part of the garden, which is closed to the public usually. But it has struck me, why don't they move out? They could sell it or rent it out for an absolutely astronomical sum. Look at this for a desirable location in Chelsea, one of the best addresses in London. A building of that size and scale, what could you do with that in terms of, luxury flats, a hotel, something like that? Leading right down to the river with huge gardens. Now they do make a bomb from renting it out for this. I think they rent out the gardens for weddings and stuff. And then they could just move out to the countryside and have a purpose-built hospital. But so far they haven't wanted to do that. Okay, and here's the Great Pavilion. And we are fortunate insofar as the trees have not quite shed their leaves yet. I mean, I've seen they're yellowed in places. I've seen a few leaves on the ground, but perhaps surprisingly, they're retaining their leaves overwhelmingly up until this point. The foliage is still there. So when the canopies fall to the floor, I always feel somewhat tristful. So people taking a well-earned break from their labours of trotting around this place. And yet more garden sheds. The thing is, some of these garden sheds are so luxurious to say, why don't you actually just stay in the house at that point? There's a little office in here. How about that? Some water features. You hear the H2O bubbling by. Soothing the soul, isn't it? Okay. What do you think of that one? Wonder which is the best one. So obviously it's big business, because if you have a garden in London, you're doing well. Even a postage stamp of a garden will be bloody expensive, 2-bedroom flats for 600,000 quid is not unremarkable these days. Obviously it's location, location, location. And a few more displays over there. Well, I no longer have Sol in my eyes, so it's all right. And what's over here? Let's go and take a look. I had wanted to do a live stream on YouTube, but I think I'm not internet connected. What are they selling here?
Are you guys buying a swing or not?
Oh, they're swings. I thought it was artwork.
Buy it if you like it.
Oh, it looks like these guys are set out of Carnaby Street, circa 1968. A little garden swing. Swings for grown-ups. Yeah, a little bit relaxing. Maybe exhilarating too. See the guy in the purple hat, that's the kind of guy I'm talking about? And this bearded chap over the other side, somewhat piratical. Okay. So very alternative. This is sort of like affluent Bohemia. Oh, it's a leaf motif, I get it. Okay. And their place is selling Pimm's and whatnot. I loathe Pimm's, that British summer drink. I think it's because it's got gin in it. I just revile gin. And so people drink that outside in the afternoon, in the evening. It's a sort of garden party tipple. If you're not from Ireland or Great Britain, you probably wouldn't know that, would not have heard of it. Because I think Pimm's is the family that made that type of gin, P-I-M-M. And you pour your Pimm's gin, and it's with various fruit things in it. There'd be a mint leaf, and I can't remember which other bits of fruit. There, you can get beverages, which are sort of harder liquor over there. And I could do another circuit, or just go right into the Great Pavilion. So you sort of see the thing that's on offer. Yeah, I think this would be none too cheap. Come at quite a price tag. And so here are one of the floral displays, but maybe when I go to the Great Pavilion, I'll see some magnificent floral displays. Because no, I'm not into flower arranging, but to see the most awe-striking floral arrangement in the world, yeah, I'll do that once in my life. I think that's worth paying for. It's not even that expensive. But yeah, usually you can't get a ticket for love nor money in the run-up to it. But fortunately, coronavirus didn't rise too much. I thought I was going to have to prove I'd had my double vaccination or prove negative to test, but actually I wasn't asked for any such thing. Okay. So you get an idea of the scale of the gardens. I've not even gone halfway around before we go in here. And obviously it seems smaller than it is because it's so crowded. Oh look, the grass is imbrowned because it's been deprived of sunlight and for some days. And obviously will water as well. They could start watering it now. Okay. Look at that, a little barrel, some ferns. Well, what verdure, though somehow well watered. but the place doesn't quite luxuriate in the natural hues and the heady odours that I had been hoping for. Maybe it's just not warm enough. I remember going to some garden centres in Dubai, very warm, and that of course somehow intensified the olfactory sense. Growing houseplants helps our well-being. That was the legend I just read. Make a house at home. Well, I like these ones. I don't know anything about the names of plants. People say, what's a tree? I just say, well, it's a tree. I mean, I don't know the name of it. I can't tell one species from the next. More ferns. Haven't seen any moss, curiously. I remember Sir Tobias Coghill informing me that the brighter it was, the wetter it was. And even if you squeeze the water out, it goes a bit darker. So, is that enough? Anyway, so it's been a fairly long video, but you get the idea. I shan't go all the way around. There are more exterior displays that I won't film. You'll have to come here in person. And running out of things to say. How can I comment on that? This yellow, I like a more canary colour. That's too pallid for me. Oh, and there's that delicate yellowish pink fuchsia behind it. Oh, right, there are some of the brighter yellows I was hoping for. A few ones which are not quite crimson, what do you call a deeper yet duller red. And some lilacs and whatnot over in this cluster. So yeah, they're huddling together according to shade, appears to me. So yeah, I've derived some aesthetic pleasure. Nothing that's really blown me away, because I thought I might be stunned by it. I have to stay to appreciate it and can't so on concentrate, because I suppose I've got showing relative inattention towards the plants since I'm thinking about what I'm going to say. And here we are, coming over here. Look how tall these ones are. Pink John Wingfield. Wow, Wingfield. Is there a place called Wingfield? Or is his surname? Chard, as in the town. I think it's in Somerset. Always makes me think that Lieutenant Chard of Rorke's Drift fame. See, chard, this first vegetable thing here. Lettuce. All the different species of lettuce. I wouldn't be able to tell one from the next. I don't like it over much, not being a rabbit. I know, spot the difference. Could be hard to tell. I'm often confused for one. Okay, so enough sort of Bugs Bunny food. Yeah, noticeably no beasts. I've not seen any dogs here, even guide dogs. But then I haven't seen anyone who's blind or partially sighted. So you're getting an idea. There's more that's coming from. Ooh, look at the elephant and the camel. What topiary that is. Even more impressive topiary than a Brazilian. Okay, so I might switch it off now. So I warmly recommend it to you. I'll just carry on going quite fast rather than have a good close look at these things, so get an idea what the place is like. Then if you go yonder, that ways towards the river, perhaps you can see the large white crane out there. No, not a bird, as in a crane of the mechanical variety. And that's just in front of the river. Some trees in the distance, that's the south bank of the River Thames at Battersea Park. And there were some very fine looking buses coming here. Those old style route masters with a doorway, no door. Going to the Chelsea Flower Show, that big white bar you held onto, so you jumped on. I remember last seeing them in '99 in general service. Rather dangerous because people fall out and people got on whilst it was in motion. Ring of Kerry, oh hooray! Aaron Gobrow. Okay, so we're flying the tricolour, as it were. Things from Ireland. Yeah, oh, moss, finally. Well, I'm not surprised. We have lichen and all sorts of Orchid Society of Great Britain. Got their display there. Ah, this is more like it. Here it's just going to luxuriate. Opulence. How about that? Quel embarrassement de richesse. So, wow. This is bathed in colour. And, oh, I see the butterfly display. I get the motif. And then over the other side. Aha! I think I finally found what I was looking for. It's resplendent, isn't it? Anyway. So, this place, well, it's glorying in flora. But what are these? these stalk things. I'm showing my ignorance. It's like they're reeds or something. And vegetable display. Well, I suppose it would be sort of harvest festival around now. I've been seeing people wearing 3 sprigs of something or other. Oh, where's the harvest festival thing? Well, I've never seen it before. Particularly Labour MPs when I watched a House of Commons debate, Prime Minister's Question Time. Okay, I think that's enough. So perhaps you're getting a sense of just how large it is and how variegated the display is, and indeed the sort of demographic that's most often found here. So that's enough from me reporting the Chelsea Flower Show. I cordially recommend that you pay a visit yourself and see all the finery that's on display. The most splendid gifts that nature has given us, a really choice display of flowers and whatnot, as well as things to buy for your garden if you've got money burning a hole in your pocket. All right, so that's all enough from me. Follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and book online lessons with me in history, politics, religious studies, French, law, English language, English literature, English as a foreign language, the Life in the UK test, things of that nature. And I help people with theses, essays, interview practice, articles, dissertations, proofreading things. Okay, so I'll say goodbye, everyone, and see you anon. See you next year at the Chelsea Flower Show. I'm fairly surprised not to bump into anybody I know. Okay, I think that's enough of a 360. Please donate with the greatest possible liberality on PayPal, georgecallahan79@gmail.com. Toodle pip.